two-time champ Porter. Please check out Jay Calderon Boxing Talk on YouTube. God bless you.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Jay Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment, and we're about to get into this week's boxing talk. As the year 2016 closes out, there were some announcements made for fights that are going to be taking place early next year. We have the big showdown that we have been waiting for between Golovkin, the middleweight champion of the world, defending his title against his most significant opponent of his career, Daniel Jacobs from Brooklyn, New York. And this fight is going to take place on March 18th in Madison Square Garden on HBO pay-per-view. This is a matchup that most boxing fans want to see because it is a true test for Gennady Golovkin. Now, some fans believe that Gennady Golovkin will have a very easy time against Daniel Jacobs because Jacobs has been stopped before against another undefeated Russian, but Jacobs has improved as a fighter since that defeat, and he's only lost once in his career. He's won the world title, becoming world champion. Daniel Jacobs has very good hand speed. He's the much faster fighter between him and Triple G, and he also has very good hard-hitting punching power and solid boxing skills. And I believe that Daniel Jacobs, a solid middleweight at 160 pounds, will possess some type of problems for Gennady Golovkin. But Golovkin is a monster puncher, and everyone looks at the suspect chin of Daniel Jacobs because he was dropped early this year by Sergio Moore. This is a guy that his chin is definitely suspect, but he has tremendous heart. He has skills, he has hand speed, and he has the power to upset Gennady Golovkin. This is a fight that many people look as a significant step in level of competition for Triple G. Triple G has fought some solid B-level type of fighters where he's knocked them out easily. He's faced top 10 contenders in the 160-pound division, but he's never faced an A-level fighter or a very well-known name fighter that is a super fight for him. Now, this is a fight that wouldn't be considered a super fight. Some people don't even believe it should be on pay-per-view, but it's a fight that is definitely significant for Triple G because Triple G is going to be tested against a guy that has good skills and possesses hard-hitting punching power. We've seen a glimpse of Triple G's arsenal. He hasn't shown us the full set of weapons that he possesses. This guy has a very good jab. And we saw that when he went up against another hard-hitting puncher in David Lemieux, he was able to box instead of go to war. So he has a good ring IQ because this guy is the real deal. He's a guy that was an outstanding amateur that won the silver medal, and he's now a world champion with 3 world titles in the weight class, and he still is looking to unify the division and become the undisputed middleweight champion. But he will have to get past Jacobs first, and it's going to be in Jacobs' hometown of New York City. The Brooklyn boy will have a very strong crowd on hand, and Triple G sells out a venues. So it's going to be a sold-out crowd in Madison Square Garden, and yours truly, Jay Calderon, will be in the building as I has just bought my ticket for this fight because it's going to be a hell of a fight, and I hope that it goes into the later rounds and it's not a quick, easy blowout like some people are suggesting that it's going to be. But I think that Daniel Jacobs is going to possess some type of problems for Triple G because it is the best that he has faced. Some people say Kell Brook was a very good boxer, an undefeated fighter with good power, but he was just too small for Triple G. He moved up in weight, 2 weight divisions to take on the middleweight champion. He gave a good performance, but Triple G was able to stop him by breaking his eye socket. This man has tremendous punching power, and if Jacobs' chin does not hold up, he's definitely going to get knocked out. But like we saw in the Peter Kid Chocolate Quillin fight when he took him on at the Barclays Center, people favored Kid Chocolate over Daniel Jacobs. And in that fight, he was able to catch Peter Quillin early in the fight and hurt him, and it was all over in the first round with a spectacular stoppage in that fight, and it was the biggest victory win, his most significant win of his career. So you can't count out Daniel Jacobs. This guy has been through so much. He has tremendous heart. He's a cancer survivor. He's from Brooklyn, my hometown, and I definitely would like to see him win, but I'm also a Triple G fan since day one. I've been watching this man before he came to the United States, before the popularity had grown, and you have all the bandwagon fans. This man is the real deal, and I like him 100%, and I would like for him to win as well. It's a 50-50 fight in my book, a little edging towards Triple G because of that power and the chin factor of Daniel Jacobs, but I see this fight as a very good fight that's going to take place on March 18, HBO pay-per-view, so tune into that fight because it's going to be a hell of a fight. Another fight that was just also recently announced, Puerto Rican legend Miguel Cotto will make his ring return February 25th when he takes on faded power punching James Kirkland. Now this is a matchup a couple of years ago that would have been very good at 154 pounds. It's being fought at a catch weight of 153 pounds. And Miguel Cotto has not fought in over a year. This man could not find anyone better to be able to get a big significant fight for him. He wanted the Canelo rematch. That wasn't on the table. Rock Nation has not done a great job with Miguel Cotto. The only big fight that they were able to get him was the Canelo Alvarez fight. And this is the best that they could do for him right now against James Kirkland, another guy that hasn't fought in quite some time. This guy is a faded warrior, but he always comes to fight. He's going to have Ann Wolfe, his old trainer, in his corner, and we know that when he's with Ann Wolfe, he puts on his best performances. So let's hope that the Mandingo Warrior will come to fight that night and his chin can hold up for several rounds and give us a better fight than he did against Canelo Alvarez. We know that he has the punching power to score a knockdown or even stop Miguel Cotto, but Cotto has a durable chin. He has been rocked, he has been wobbled, he also has been dropped before, but this man always comes to fight 100%. He is a Puerto Rican legend, a 4-division world champion. He has the boxing skills that are better than James Kirkland, and I look for Miguel Cotto to win in spectacular fashion, perhaps in the middle rounds, 5th round stoppage for Miguel Cotto against James Kirkland. Hopefully it goes a little longer, more like a Kirkland versus Angulo type of affair where both guys get their shots off and it's a very exciting fight, but we have to wait and see how it plays out. We don't think that this fight is going to do great pay-per-view numbers. I think that this fight will do decent, better than what people expect because Miguel Cotto is one of the biggest pay-per-view stars behind guys like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, which are the bigger pay-per-view stars of his generation. Miguel Cotto comes in third. They're fighting in Texas where Kirkland is also from, so they'll probably have a good crowd at hand at the new stadium that they built over there in Texas. So Miguel Cotto looks to get another victory win and probably ride off into the sunset. This is probably his last fight of his career because his contract is up with Rock Nation. We don't know if he's going to renew. I hope he does not renew with this company because Rock Nation really hasn't done anything other than sign 2 big stars and get 2 big fights, and they haven't seen anything else after those fights have occurred. So we have to see what plays out for Miguel Cotto, but I see him winning by stoppage victory and riding off into the sunset, retiring. He's had a great Hall of Fame career, and I wish the best for Miguel Cotto. Now, I'm going to end off this with a final awards of 3 categories that I picked out for 2016. First, knockout of the year for 2016 goes to Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan. I was at that fight in Las Vegas, and to me, it was the biggest knockout of the year. You have honorable mentions like Lomachenko against Rocky Martinez, and also the fight between Joe Smith and Bernard Hopkins, where Hopkins was knocked out of the ring. But this fight right here was a very big fight. Even though that Amir Khan was moving up in weight, 2 weight divisions from the welterweight division to take on a guy like Canelo Alvarez for the middleweight crown, it was a fight where it was pretty competitive in the beginning because Amir Khan did really well in that fight. He was fast with his hand speed, and he was scoring some punches. Some people had him ahead on the fight, and then Canelo Alvarez was starting to get into the fight, started to break his man down, and landed the perfect shot that just knocked him out cold. It was a spectacular highlight reel knockout where you see Amir Khan motionless on the ground, and to me, that was knockout of the year for 2016. Now, another category is fight of the year. That goes to Francisco Vargas versus Orlando Salido. To me, that was an instant classic the minute these guys took off in round one, and it didn't stop until the final bell. These guys gave such a great fight. It reminded me something like the great Mexican versus Mexican war against Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales in their first fight. And it was a beautiful fight between these two. There was a lot of great fights that were action-packed fights this year in 2016. Guys like Keith Thurman and Sean Porter had a terrific fight. Leo Santa Cruz versus Carl Frampton. That was also another great, spectacular fight. And there was other fights out there that were very good and very entertaining. But to me, this fight between Vargas and Salido is definitely fight of the year for 2016 for Jay Calderon Boxing Talk. Now, who do I pick for fighter of the year? We have some good honorable mentions like Terrence Crawford, who fought about 3 times this year. He unified the title against Victor Postal, and that was a big, significant fight for him. He remains undefeated. He's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He ended it with stoppage over John Molina in a bit of a mismatch fight, and he also had a fight against Hank Lundy early in the year. And then you have Vasily Lomachenko, which is another honorable mention. This guy had a very good knockout and won a world title in his second weight division in just his 8th professional fight when he beat Rocky Martinez with a great knockout. And then he also had Nicholas Walters, an undefeated former world champion. This was a much anticipated fight for boxing fans. He put on a clinic against Nicholas Walters and he made him quit in his corner, and it was a big victory for Vasily Lomachenko, and he's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters today, perhaps the best pound-for-pound fighter. But my guy that I picked for 2016 is Carl the Jackal Frampton, and I tell you why. He had a big domestic fight in the UK with about 20,000 fans. It was a much anticipated fight between him and Scott Quigg. This was a fight that it was 2 undefeated champions, top guys at 122 pounds. A lot of people say that he ducked Rigondeaux, and I do agree that he definitely avoided Guillermo Rigondeaux, the king of 122 pounds. But Frampton was considered number 2 best fighter at the super bantamweight limit, and Scott Quigg was a definite good fighter, solid domestic fighter that was a world champion, and Frampton dominated Scott Quigg in this fight and won and unified the WBA and IBF super bantamweight titles at 122 pounds to solidify himself as one of the top guys in the pound-for-pound rankings, because he moved up in his next fight and he came to the United States on foreign land to take on an undefeated 3-division world champion in Leo Santa Cruz, who is also a top pound-for-pound fighter in the rankings as well, and a guy that was heavily favored in the fight against Carl Frampton, who was unknown to the American public, but is a guy that I have been watching for quite some time. And I told many people that this kid, Carl Frampton, is a very good boxer. He has quick hands and he has decent punching power to gain your respect. And he put on a great performance. It was a hell of a fight. It was a candidate for Fight of the Year. So you look at that magnitude that he came to the United States against an undefeated 3-division world champion who's on the pound-for-pound list, who was the favorite in this fight to win, and he pulled out a great victory, an upset victory against Leo Santa Cruz, and captured a world title in his second weight division, 3 world titles in 1 year. That is Fight of the Year for Jay Calderon Boxing Talk. And that is my selection for 2016. I want to thank all the fans for making it a great year, for joining in and tuning into my YouTube channel at Jay Calderon Boxing Talk. Everyone that has subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit that little subscribe button. Put your email address so you get all my notifications when I drop my new video. Everybody that's following me on Instagram and also on Twitter at Jay Calderon Boxing, and everyone that has joined that Facebook boxing group page, Jay Calderon Boxing Talk. I thank everyone that has supported me. It has been a very good year with interviews with Juan Manuel Marquez. Check it out. It's on YouTube. And also trainer Joel Diaz for giving me my first interview when we was in Vegas, and all the other people that showed me love in the boxing world. I thank all the people that had me as a guest analysis on their show. Much love and respect to all the boxing pages on Facebook. I'm Jay Calderon, Stand Clear Entertainment. Thanks for your support. Keep watching and subscribe.